trying to think. Trying to think when they all kind of departed. Because Kopjak famously went when he was going to be tupied over to a new employer and decided he quite fancied the cut of...
Quite fancied a club that might pay his wages regularly.
Well, I mean, such a minor
Do you remember
point.
Tom at that time? Gosh, that was one of Tom's real rants. I think Craig Kopjak.
Craig Kopjak.
Yeah.
God, yeah. But
first year of Super League pod that was. It was early doors, early news story that he really.
So that's 2014.
Yeah, whereas Joe Wardle had left some time before that, and Matt Cook left probably 2010ish. So it's not when they left the club.
Is it when they played in a game together?
No, I'll.
I can't think what links them.
It's relatively simple. It's just that they all made their first Super League appearances for the Bradford Bulls.
Oh, they did.
So their first game in Super League was for Bradford for each of those. That's why I went Matt Cook over Andy Lynch, you see.
Ah, of course.
Yeah.
That's a very logical thing to think. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I remember Kopjak's first game. He burst through, literally, his first game. He kind of came on as a sub, and he looked like a world beater. He made a couple of really good breaks. He was obviously a bit smaller then, a bit younger and all, and he was a bit more of kind of a second row type thing. And he looked like a great player. I thought we struck gold, but a career of mediocrity kind of followed. But there you go. Just shows you what first impressions do for you.
I thought Kopjak had a really good season last year at Salford, so he's not completely wasted his talent.
I still haven't forgiven him.
I tell you who I never thought would bounce back into Super League and have such a long career was Matt Cook, because when he left Bradford and went to Hull KR, I sort of thought he's going to slip down now. He's going to drift out, and I never really saw him jumping back in after that year with the Broncos when they went down. But he's been really, really, useful for Castleford.
He has. I mean, he's a great kind of Powell project, isn't he? He's kind of been brought in to do a job, and he's done that job magnificently. I mean, when obviously we signed him when he was when we were at our peak, and he was a hot kind of ticket. He was courted by union clubs as well. He had a real skill set behind him, and he never found a position with us. He was definitely utility.
Yeah.
And that was his downfall with us. And to be fair, we were on the downward spiral, and he never cemented his spot, and he was in and out.
Well, at least he got that one big game in. He got that big game,
and I couldn't be happier. That he has he's established himself as as a Super League kind of player. It's great for him, and
And he played a big role in you getting a 3 out of 3 on the Who Am I's, but then obviously missing the specifics of the league.
75%, I'll take that.
But that gives you the chance to go first in SLP Recommend. So this is your chance to tell us what you like and push it onto the SLP audience.
All right, okay. So I have a couple actually. The first one is was something that's coming up, which I'm just going to find now, that I saw on Twitter today. But the other one it's just a general recommendation to go to a neutral game. Go to a game where you haven't got a dog in the fight. Because I got so much out of the game going to Wakefield. You see so much more.
Yeah. You realise the referees aren't as shit.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The Trinity fans were on the back of Hewitt for like 10 minutes, screaming at the guy, and he'd done nothing wrong. He'd made a couple of good calls, and he'd pulled up an obvious head-high shot. I mean, it was blatant. It was like 2 yards in front of him, and there's nothing as blinkered as a fan. So if for nothing else, it really shows you something about rugby league that you might not see when you're sweating over the result of an individual game. So if your team's
SLP probably wouldn't have existed without going to neutral games. That's exactly what sort of lit the fire under us. Yeah.
it's true. If your team isn't playing or you're kind of they're away or something, and there's a game near you, kind of go along. Obviously, any level, but yeah, go to a neutral game because it changes your view of league in my opinion. And the other one it's something I spotted today, recommended. It's on Sunday at 7 on the television. It's called the Rugby Code Breakers. It's about the Welsh players who left Wales to play rugby league.
Oh wow!
So it's a documentary. It's on BBC Two Wales, but you can get it on Sky if you've got it on channel 971 or Freesat 971. But apparently it's going to be on iPlayer as well. Tony Collins tweeted out the link about it today. But yeah, that's kind of just sounds like something that would be really up the street of somebody who's kind of interested in the history of the game what happened.
Think about some of the greats as well who would be involved in that. Gus Risman and Billy Boston, Clive Sullivan, and Hall of Famers.
Yeah, well, obviously from a Bradford point of view, you don't go farther than Sir Trevor Foster. You know what I mean? A guy who came from South Wales, and Bradford wouldn't have existed without him in the 1960s, and there's a whole raft of players, like Mark's just mentioned, they're a huge, and going up to the 90s, you've got players, the kind of your Quinnells and people like that, Davies, Warrington. You could write a list as long as you're around of players who've followed that route. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and that's Sunday at 7.
Brilliant. My SLP recommends is close to home. There's a new pub opened up in my town, which has quickly become my local. It's called the Tap and Vent. So if you are in the Fylde area and you do happen upon Kirkham, then go to the Tap and Vent brew pub because it's very good. And my other one is Strike. It's a mini series. Apparently they've had a couple of other series of it before. It's just finished a 2-episode run of its latest mini-series on BBC One, so you'll be able to get it on the iPlayer. I think it's called something like, I don't know, something about an evil bloke or something. Anyway, it's called Strike. Then it's got like a subtitle. I should have prepared more for this, but it was a really engaging show to watch, and we've watched a couple of shows recently that are really great for the first, say, 3 episodes of 6 or 4 episodes of 6 or 1 episode of 2 or whatever, but then underwhelm at the ending. This show kind of packaged everything up nicely, so you actually got to feel like you saw the start and the end of something, which is rare in television these days. So yeah, I'd recommend that. In terms of next week's show, send us all your feedback on the show that Alan's recommended for everyone to watch, because that sounds really interesting. Sarah Scoots McKenzie will be meeting us, so get your questions in about crocheting sea creatures, because I'm sure she'll be able to cover that off in great detail.
I definitely can.
Also, any feedback on the news stories we've spoken about this week would be great. And more match reviews, please, people, because we're getting back into the swing of things, but we're not getting the range of match reviews we were getting last year. So I'd really like to hear from more of you guys. Remember to get them sent in by the cut-off. Look for the tweets that'll come out almost within 10-15 minutes of every game finishing. Then it'll probably pop up again in your timeline an hour or so later if you miss it the first time. But just go on the @Super League Pod timeline and find that. On Sunday, go on the Facebook page. There'll be a link there. That's Super League Pod. Facebook.com/Super League Pod. I want to do some thank yous before we leave the show this week to Dave Cantrell and Alan Walker. They've made donations to help support the show this week. The next thing on the agenda to buy is a new microphone and maybe a mixer or something like that for the in-person live shows that we record, Alan. So
sounds good.
So we've got about a month for me to get that new microphone, so that's what the next lot of donations will go towards. If you want to make a donation, please feel free to do so, small or big. They're all greatly appreciated. You can go to paypal.me/Super League Pod, and yet the donations are going to be used for increasing our hosting space like we've done already, buying some new equipment, and also I've been in initial talks with Sarah about making sure we get enough money put together to sponsor the Mighton under-9s kit for next year too, like we have contributed to that this year in terms of where you can find the show, and also make sure you share the show, hammer the retweets and shares and likes on Twitter and Facebook, please. But it's at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram. I think we went quiet on the Instagram this weekend. It was far too cold to get the phone out of the pocket.
Well, to be fair, I meant to ask for the password and then I completely forgot. So there you go. But yeah.
Facebook.com/SuperLeaguePod, SuperLeaguePod@gmail.com if you want to send us an email, a bit of a lengthier story about anything rugby league related or Super League Pod related. SuperLeaguePod.com is where you can find the blog posts, and also where you'll find all the details on the latest post on there about our sponsors if you want to support those guys, because they're doing a great job supporting us. You can also search for the show if you've stumbled across it through a link on there, through a link on Twitter or Facebook or something, but you want to subscribe. You can find us on Spreaker, on Apple Podcasts, or iTunes, whichever one you call that still. I think they call it Apple. I don't know why they rebranded something so famous, but it appears they have done. You can also get the Leaguecast Android app, and also subscribe to us on YouTube. You'll get audio-only videos there in bite-sized kind of chunks. So this one's going to fill up a lot of space. And I think that's all that's left to do, really, is thank Alan, Shoddy and Mungo himself for being such a engaging and enjoyable part of this show. With lots of anecdotes there, and it's rare that someone speaks more than me, but I think we've shared things out pretty evenly tonight, so that's been really fun. I've had a great time talking to you.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I look forward to having you on again, and until then, we hope that the Bradford Bulls go well, and see you all next time on your favourite rugby league podcast, the Super League Pod.
Cheers, guys. But the other one I prefer, but it's more. I'll tell you it now. But this is the thing. Unfortunately, no one was at the game.
Yeah.
But when they announced the squad, Huddersfield squad, instead of Danny Brough, they called him Daniel Brough. And I was like, is this like a conscious rebranding, like Andrew Cole? Or is it like a tax? Is it a tax thing? Because he's been, he has to be called Daniel now, or something like that.
You'll definitely have to bring that up and see if any of the, like Brian or anyone, can shed any light on if he was called that back in the day when he used to play there.
Maybe, or something like that. But yeah, but my thing title was I, Daniel Brough. I play on the film. But I mean, it's
a bit specific, isn't it? But
it's really obscure, and I'm very aware that that's based on my really specific film knowledge as well, because not everyone's going to know that film either.
When we get to it, I think when we get to this thing and you slip it in, it's something we can like spitball and workshop. Right,
we'll see. Something else might crop up.
It's a brilliant one. It's a brilliant one. It's really good. Right, okay, I'm going to start now. Sorry.
All right.